So it's a constant process of see, feel, do, review. And then again, see, feel, do, review. And that is a formula that I use to keep me out of cult consciousness. What I've been kind of sitting with lately is how culture is everywhere, and it's most of us that just want to follow something, some formula that somebody else has given us to get to the right place in life. And the right place in life is defined by most everybody else. And it's such a journey, you know, just for me as a Kundalini yogi, having gone through the whole betrayal and revelations around what was really going on in 3HO and with Yogi Bhajan, and to then recognize this, like, wow, this is such an opportunity to actually get off of that track of thinking, that if I just follow someone else's concept of what success is, more Mercedeses, more clothes, more big rings, more diamonds, more money in the bank, and really define what is success for me. But it takes so much to get out of following a recipe and going, okay, I need to write my own recipe and follow that. And they have done studies of people that win the lottery, like millions of dollars, and within 5 years, 75% of the people that have won a lottery will be either at the same amount of money that they had before they won the lottery, or less. They're more apt to commit suicide, apparently. They're more apt to file bankruptcy after they win that, because if you can't energetically hold that new image of who you are as a rich person now, all of a sudden I have $5 million. If you're not actually somebody who feels like they're worth $5 million, you're not going to hold on to it. You're going to lose it. You're going to waste it. You're going to, something's going to happen that makes you lose that money, because your energetic blueprint within yourself is not telling you, is not showing you that that's who you actually can be or are. So the journey for yoga is to really energetically, so all our past traumas imprint in our chakras, right? Energetic, we get like little stamps in all our, issues with power, third chakra, there it goes. All your issues with your father or authority or people telling you what to do goes to the third chakra. So in yoga, you very systematically start shifting the energetic frequency. And once you feel what a powerful open third chakra feels like, when you're not there, you'll notice it. So it gives you a little glimpse of what could be, and you actually experience that. It's not a book that you read or somebody else is telling you. Is you have an experience of your own power through a specific yoga set that's designed to open that up. And then you can keep redialing yourself. And for me, that's a process that happens every single day. I need to see the vision that I hold for who I am meant to be here this lifetime. So I need to feel the feelings that go along with that person. I need to already feel that and energetically hold that. The heart is the strongest generator of emotions, the strongest magnet that we have. If I can feel it in my heart, the emotion of, if my thing is purest potential, which it happens to be, then I need to emotionally radiate and feel and experience the feelings that would go along with me living my purest potential. I would be enthusiastic. I would be happy to get up in the morning and start a new day. I would be feeling strong and healthy and capable, all that. So it's see my vision, feel the feelings as if that vision was already here, then do the work, do the actual yoga kriyas, do the meditations, do the journaling, do whatever works for me to keep me aligned. And then every day I review what I did yesterday. Where did I get triggered? And it's very humbling to realize how often I get triggered. Where did I lose consciousness? Where did I go on automatic pilot? Where did I go into cult consciousness? Where did I follow someone else's saying and went, oh my God, so-and-so said this, and I'm going to do that, and I'm going to be just like them, and you know. So it's a constant process of see, feel, do, review. And then again, see, feel, do, review. And that is a formula that I use to keep me out of cult consciousness, to keep me from going asleep. And it's simple enough that it's something I can do every day. If we apply these ways of being in life, see, feel, do, review, if we keep applying those to our lives, we're actually in harmony with nature's way of growth and expansion. And if you've noticed, nature doesn't just plant like one little tree. I mean, it like goes berserk. Like look at an aspen forest. It's just like a bazillion trees. And, you know, that is our innate nature, is to be prosperous, to be in abundance. The universe is constantly expanding. It's like, so in order to be aligned with that frequency and not, it's almost like we can pinch that off. We can pinch that flow off by feeling afraid and feeling scared or sad, or, you know, and all those are valid emotions.
I feel like it's almost like what you said in the beginning. It's with the whole analogy of the lottery winners. It's like they lose it all, or actually end up worse than how they started.
Right.
And I can't help but wonder if that's purely because of self-sabotage and feeling that they don't deserve it.
So your father used to tell me that when they shoot a rocket, when NASA shoots a rocket to the moon, they don't just say, okay, this is, you start here and you're going to end there, and end of story. No, that's the very beginning of the story. They have hundreds of people that sit there at computers readjusting the velocity, the speed from all the outside influences that happen. That rocket is mostly off course, and it's constantly having to get recalibrated to get back on course. And it's the same with our life. You know, you can't just set a goal on January 1st and then go to sleep on it, because you will have things that happen. Your baby all of a sudden won't sleep at night, or you get sick, or you lose your car, or something happens. And we need to constantly recalibrate to be in alignment with our vision, with our intention, because life has a tendency to throw, what do you call it? There's landmines everywhere. And I don't think it's that successful people are necessarily smarter or stronger or anything, but they're more stubborn. They just keep getting back up and saying, okay, that didn't work, now what?
Well, the enjoyment seems to be in the process of achieving it.
Right.
And that's the mistake we make, is we think that having achieved it will bring us some sort of bliss or joy, but it's not. The only joy that I've ever experienced truly is anticipation. If you ever noticed, like, when it's done, you know.
Right.
And speaking of rockets, you know, I heard an interview about Elon Musk talking about how he felt. Someone asked him, how do you feel after they finally launched the first successful Falcon rocket? And you could just look in his eyes, he didn't feel much.
Right.
He said he felt like getting back to work. And that's because the dopamine comes from anticipation of achievement, and in the process of accumulating the tools and the knowledge and the skills and the momentum towards something that you don't have. But I think that actually having it, you know, that's like people buy lottery tickets because of the feeling they get when they scratch the little wax off the numbers, not because of the actual money. They think it's because of that, but it's really just an addiction to the feeling of, oh, what if I win this time?
Right.
So if we're in this, you know, if we're human beings with this hardwired system that is really predicated upon our neurotransmitters, Kundalini comes into play because it hacks our neurotransmitters. And hack sounds like this kind of brute force word of, like, you know, you're going in, you're breaking the code, and you're sort of like, you know, hijacking your neurons. But that's not what it is. It's like with the breath work, the mantras, the asanas, the mudras, the mantras, takes away all of the patterning I've built around defending myself from feeling not successful, defending myself from not feeling like I'm actually achieving something. brings me back to a natural, calm state, especially with breath work. That's why I do yoga every morning. You do yoga every morning. And like you said, it gives you a feeling of what you can achieve, that when it's not there, then you start to notice, oh my God, I never want to go back.
Right.
I never want to actually feel this insecurity or this feeling that I was unaware that I was living in.
Right.
And
now,
now,
that's so powerful, because most people are so married to their sadness or their pain or their story about why not, that they, like you said, the hormones, I mean, the chemical reaction that you get from a certain emotional state then becomes your addiction. And we get addicted to these feelings that we actually mentally don't want to feel. But then you're being driven. It's like an addiction to heroin, or it's all, we're all fighting these demons.
Yeah, it's like we have all sorts of mechanisms that amp us up and distract us from the real process of, what was your review? It was
see, feel, do, review.
See, feel, do, review.
And that's that's our recalibration.
So if we can see it, and we can feel it, and then we can do it and review it, that's the natural progression. Whereas what we're mostly doing is sort of opposite of that, right?
Exactly.
It's let me review, let me do what I know, let me feel how I felt, and let me refuse to see anything new.
Right. So we live in our past constantly. And that's the journey for being alive, is to not do what our parents did, or not do what I did yesterday, but to keep stepping into the adventure of life, into the not knowing of life. We don't know if we.
Yeah.
Einstein said that you can't solve a problem with the same emotional and mental mindset that you had when you created it.
Wow.
You can only repeat what has been.
So it's the mindset that has to change.
Yes.
And that's uncomfortable, because we are
so
ensconced in our mindsets. We feel like it's gotten me here. I know who I am,
right.
And my mindset is my mindset.
Right.
But actually, the fragility of breaking out of that gives us a new perspective, which gives us new inspiration. And without that new inspiration, you lose all purpose. You lose all drive. And we've all been there. I've totally been there. And it's like you started talking about cults. Cults give you inspiration and drive and purpose, but then guess what? After 5 years into it, I remember doing Kundalini yoga. I remember the first time doing Kundalini yoga, and it blew my cap off.
Right.
I was so high for months. And then over the next 5, 6, 7 years, it totally dwindled, because it was the way. You will follow these dogmatic rules, and you will do it the way it's done. You will never try anything new. You will say the mantra in the exact tone that Yogi told you to say it, and it will be done in this way, and men are this way, and women are this way, and it is what it is. And it's like, so how uninspiring to be creative and to even try to attempt to explore something new in your own spiritual realms. Like, spiritual awakenings come from you feeling like you've come across something.
Right.
But it seems like the cult mentality, right? And cults are everywhere, whether it's your diet or your spirituality or your religion or your politics. It's all culty.
Right.
So for you, having had this big rift in your community ever so recently, what are you taking away as far as generating a new mindset? Like what helps you stay out of the security of feeling like, oh, let me just go to the old teachings and do what I was told, and stay in this
and I
like
tell
rut?
You, that was such a pattern that I just kept thinking, at one point I even thought about, I'll just become like a Christian and I'll just do what they say, and then everything will be fine again. And I caught myself saying, God, it's just a repeat of the same pattern. It's me that has to change. And I have to quit looking out there, because it's in here. And and what got me out is see, feel, do, review. I just kept saying, okay, so there was, I'm seeing that I am not secure in this new way. Okay, and that's going to be like that. I'm not going to be secure, because but I had to really take time every day to go, okay, how did I feel yesterday? What happened? What triggered me? Where did I go unconscious? And I literally write. Now other people might want to talk about it, or you'll have your own way, but you have to have a way that you can review what you're doing so that you can recalibrate, like, and the way I can do that is through checking my feelings. It's like, okay, where did I feel scared? Where did I get sad? Where did I deviate from feeling my amazing self? Because my heart is true. My heart will tell me, well, my heart will always be broadcasting whether I'm in alignment with who I truly am or not. In Kundalini Yoga, we call it Satnam. My Sat, my truth, my identity that is beyond time and space. It's true now, it will always be. It's not impacted by circumstances. It's my Sat. And Nam is my identity. So every day I say, okay, where did I lose my connection to my Satnam? Now, you can always also look at your bank account. When that starts going down, your capacity to generate and to pull and to be energetic is dwindling. So that's another way that I look at it. It's like, okay, my bank account is a reflection for me if I'm generating, if I'm actually creating impact, if that's important to you, that's a way you can check also. I mean, that quadrant of the review quadrant, we call it the IRS. It's like where you actually say, okay, you said this and this is what happened. So, there's a discrepancy here. What do you want to do? So that's my review process.
See, feel, do, review. Yeah.
And then so I actually start with that because I need to kind of see where I'm at and then, go back to my vision. It's like, does that sync up together or not? And then, go back into the feelings. It's like, okay, today I'm going to focus on kindness because yesterday I got very judgmental. I saw somebody from the ashram and I got very upset and angry. And, so today I'm going to focus on kindness because I want to reconnect to who I am. I don't want the outside to impact me in such a way that I lose my center, that I lose my connection.
So sounds like you've found a process that's really enables you to stay inspired. And I mean, you're one of the most inspiring people I've ever met.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, well, I mean, and I think it's because you are so inspired yourself.
Right.
You're always talking about things that are inspiring. This new thing I just heard about, these people are doing this and they, achieved this or they had this insight, and it's like, and you're reading things, you're observing things for yourself, you're attracting things that bolster your inspiration.
Right. I try to listen to podcasts of people that I believe or that I feel are authentic. They're not into dogma. They're not into having you follow them. That it's really, and Kundalini Yoga became about following a person.
Yeah.
And if you don't believe that person is impeccable, then somehow you can't do Kundalini Yoga, or, it's just like, It's never was about following a person.
Yeah.
Yoga intrinsically is about your union with your highest self. So it's not about following a man or a woman for that matter. It's always was about connecting to your own truth, your own Satnam. Mm-hmm. And so I will always look for people. I think it's important to have mentors. I think it's very helpful. I think there's so much, it's one of my dials that I use to recalibrate. Am I still going to the moon or not? It's one of my 100 dials that I look at. And yeah, am I feeling inspired because I have other people that have done this? They're also breaking away from cult mentality. They also had a teacher that disappointed them and hurt them. They also, and it's like everywhere you look, people have been hurt because we've wanted to believe in something external so much that we gave everything to have it be the dream that we were raised with. And that's the generation that we came from, is our parents followed others. That was just the Piscean age. It was more about, and now in the age of Aquarius, we're here to really manifest as sovereign beings, collectively, interconnected. And that's a reality that I've never seen. We tried it in the ashram. It was amazing. And then it all, the old paradigm came back in. Mm-hmm. of having to follow somebody, of having to put somebody on a pedestal.
Yeah, it's like we want to be able to contribute to other people, because I think that's the biggest part of staying in the creative force that we've been talking about this whole time. It's like a spiritual awakening or an inspiring state of being is a direct result of creativity and exploration and changing your mindset and expanding your mindset. It's like, but the closed mindset, we all become victim to that at some point or another.
And it's especially intense as you get older, because the story of, oh, I'm too old, I'm already 65, I'm not going to be able to do much, I'm just going to get older and more tired and my body's going to start falling apart, so why bother? And it's like such a challenge to...
But I mean, I see people who are 18 years old and they're way more resentful of life and way less willing to participate in anything than you.
I know, and but it's interesting. It's like we all have our reasons, and maybe that 18-year-old had a horrendous past that just got put so much pain in them that it's just they're having to slug through. We just don't know. But it's we all have our stuff. We all have our reasons why not. And I have found if I do see, feel, do, review, that is my reason as to why. And I'll be sitting there going, why not me? Why not?
So that's been your biggest thing.
That's been my thing.
I've seen you get to a point where you have all the information, the knowledge, you have the following, you have the teachings, you have the modality and the system in place. And then you've gotten to a point where you kind of say, I don't want to be beholden to.
Right.
But it's really interesting hearing you say that, why not me?
Right.
Because there's a lot of people who have the opposite affliction, which is it should be me, and they don't have any of the other things that I just listed. They don't have value to deliver.
Right.
And they don't know how to do it, and they don't have the humility, they don't have the skills or the practice. So it's interesting. We all have our balance of how do we take what we've learned and turn it into a contribution so that we can inspire ourselves to continue and inspire others and stay in this kind of like from darkness to light. I think that's the whole point, right? Is to have all this like pressure, say like that 18-year-old had, where it's just so much karma or whatever you want to call it, but I call it darkness.
Right.
And to be here in this physical manifestation as a human and to come out of that darkness, I feel is like the best part about being alive, is that we can transcend this darkness into being exalted, being excited, being inspired, connecting with ourselves, with the God that's within all of us.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, most people have the opposite issue of you, but it's really interesting. How did you come to this realization that's like, why not me?
Well, as you were talking, what I realized is that, the lessons that we are all given in our lifetime, and we all have them. The opportunity is to learn, to grow. And when there's, I don't know what it's called, but there's some little creature in the ocean that has a shell. It's encapsulated in a shell.
The hermit crab?
Yes, and it grows and then actually outgrows its
like
thing.
Lobsters and crabs.
Yeah, so they have to run, they have to let go of that shell, and they have to run to another place where they can find something that's going to protect them. And the scary part is when my lessons are there and I'm learning them, there is a point that I'm going to have to let go of what I've known and what is safe and secure for me. And I have to run like crazy through the bottom of that ocean and hope I don't get swallowed up by all kinds of creepy, crawly, scary things and find a new way of being. And so for me, the journey has been to not keep returning to the familiar and that which will keep me safe, but it'll keep me small.
But you're saying if you look at that, there is a risk when you change your mindset.
Yes.
You could get eaten.
Yes.
By the wrong mindset.
I mean, look at me with the ashram, with the people that I was with for 35 years. And we served each other. We meditated together. We made food together. We took amazing trips together. And as soon as I changed my affiliation to the prescribed way of being, I was an outcast. It just turned like that. And this is in a community that believes, or that says that, as Sikhs, we say, Ek Onkar, there's only oneness. There is no duality. It's all an expression
Except
of
nobody
the
lives
oneness.
that way.
But it's when you actually have to express that, what does that look like? Does that look like we all actually look the same with the same white clothes and white turbans? Is that what it meant? I guess that's one way
You
of
could get by
interpreting
with that,
Yeah.
it seems.
Yeah.
And everyone would co-sign on you half-assing it.
Yeah.
It's like Kundalini Yoga is just, I liken it to, people might not like this, but I liken it to taking steroids. You have to work out to get strong. You have to eat right to get strong. You have to sleep to get strong. That is 80%. Then these guys who get huge take steroids, but that's only 20%. So imagine you're taking steroids, but nothing else is in alignment.
Right.
It's not going to do really anything.
Right.
Kundalini Yoga is the same way. If you're doing Kundalini Yoga, you're practicing this way, you're wearing a turban, you're eating the right things, you're hanging out with the right people, praying to the right gurus, whatever, but you don't actually walk the talk of we are all one, it's not going to be amplifying the right things in you. That's all it is a catalyst to amplify the right things, your intention, the oneness.
Right.
So I think that that's what I saw.
And the Kundalini, when it rises, it will magnify whatever's there.
Yeah.
So this is a main reason most people stop, because all of a sudden their stuff starts coming up, which is an opportunity to say, okay, that was my old shell. My anger, my sadness, my depression, my whatever, all that stuff. That was my old shell. I was comfortable there, but it kept me in that little shell, it kept me small.
Yeah. And yes, and you made me realize that when you have to molt your shell and scurry away into a deep, dark corner until you grow a new shell, there's that moment where it's the crux of transformation. And what you are subject to is the wrong belief, the wrong mindset, the negative, the darkness to come in.
Right.
Because you've had that all fixed mindset
Right.
that kept you from absorbing the wrong kind of, being so impressionable that something came along and changed your course in a really bad way. Because as we're young, we're very impressionable, and we absorb the wrong mindsets. We hang out with the wrong people, bad influences, and we have to learn how to be careful about what we let in.
Yes. And that grows our character.
Yeah.
So the whole journey, if you can step into each of your lessons, face the wind and head into it, and trust that it'll make you into the person you came here to be. And trust that the vision that you have for yourself will always lead you through the experiences to grow you into the person that you need to become. Because I look for change. I look for growth. I look for pressure. I look for things that I'm not comfortable doing.
Yeah.
I pick the yoga sets that will make me grow.
I know you do.
I pick them.
You try to get me to do them too.
So but I know what it does, and that's the beauty of getting older, is that I now know. I've tried all this, and there's real merit in getting up every day. I get up before the sun rises. That's a formula that even Rumi gave us. Rumi
And now science is catching up with the Andrew Huberman bros.
Oh, yeah?
Go stare at the sun, get the sunlight at, as soon as,
Exactly.
it's like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
I sit outside as much as I can when I meditate. It's just like, but yeah, there's merit in there's the thing of everybody's going to go through pain. Guaranteed. You will have pain in your life. Tooth pain, relationship pain, it's all going to be there. But whether you suffer or not is up to you. Suffering is not guaranteed. Pain is. So I think our mindset, like if I look at my pain and say, okay, I lost a child at 19 years old.
Woof.
Yes, that was easily it's a journey that I will always be on, to allow myself to be sad over that and all that. And I could have stopped having children then. I could have.
Thank God you didn't.
Right? Because now you have a wife. But that, it's just the constant reason of why not. They're always there. And for me to turn back the next morning and say, okay, I'm going to sit here again and work this out again, because I want to keep growing. Because what's the alternative? It's just like, what? To sit back and watch TV and eat popcorn?
Yeah.
That sounds good.
I know. I think I might do that later today. Yeah, and if, the alternative is to like you said, eat popcorn, watch TV all day is just kind of to numb yourself. It seems like
Right.
that's an intention to avoid pain.
Yes.
Whereas what you're
Well, to
saying
avoid, yes.
is
Which causes suffering then.
yes, that's what I was then wondering
Yeah.
about the distinction you were making.
Right.
It seems like pain is something we get to, look at what's becoming popular is David Goggins, embrace the suck.
Right.
That's the saying. Who's going to carry the boats and the logs? It's like he's this huge influencer now who was a Navy SEAL and everything because he took this mindset of, stay hard, he called it. Embrace the suck. Pain is here and it's your tool. And it's
Right.
actually like, so I think that what you've illuminated is a path to inspiration and renewing your intention. And so,
Yeah, and to turn into the wind. When it starts blowing at you and it's threatening to throw you off course, just to turn into it and to know it'll make you stronger. The airplane rises because of the opposing winds, really. And it's our journey is to just keep turning into the places where we're uncomfortable, because that's my old shell and it keeps showing me, okay, this is your opportunity for growth and expansion and really fun. I mean, it's fun to live that way, I found.
Yeah, it's really honorable. It's exciting. It's legendary. It's all the things we dream about having been by the time we die.
Right.
And when we really take a hard look at the fact that we're just, most of the time not doing that. I mean, at least I'll speak for myself. Except for recently, I'm trying to be more in that. It's hopefully a very disconcerting realization for people.
Right.
Hopefully there's not this mentality of that it's okay and that people can co-sign on. It's okay, you're a victim to circumstances in your life and you don't really have to participate. You don't really have to. And it's okay, it's hard. It's hard. It's like, yeah, it's hard. But weak people make the world horrible. And I think that weak people are the ones that think it's okay to continue to suffer.
Right.
And it's like, that is a choice.
Right.
That's what we're telling people. That's what we're realizing for ourselves is it doesn't matter necessarily. There are people who made it through Auschwitz alive. And you were telling me the story of the person who's just the people who start to eat all their food and stop caring and thinking, okay, fuck it. Those are the people that get picked next to get executed.
Right. Viktor Frankl.
Viktor Frankl, thank you. It's like, it can always get worse. So, yeah, I think I'm going to go have some popcorn.
Yay! I'll join you. Right into.
Let's go get some popcorn, bubs.